What's going on, everybody? This is your girl, Bizzy Brea, on Bizzy Brea's Hot Topics. I hope you guys are all having a fabulous day today. And I've got my girl, Jen for 100 with me as well, because we have a very special guest. His name is Christopher King, you guys, grandson of the legendary blues and rock and roll icon, B.B. King. If you haven't heard of him, shame on you. He is a man who holds many titles, from international business and motivational speaker to celebrity fashion stylist and human rights advocate. Christopher King is no stranger to the world of entertainment, business, and personal success. He is a combat veteran of the United States Marine Corps, you guys, founder of the Gentleman's Course Incorporated, and president of United for Human Rights Florida. As an entrepreneur, he focuses his career in business consulting and brand development for small businesses and corporate entities, and also travels the country. He's an award-winning motivational speaker, you guys. We're going to get right into it. Welcome to the show, Christopher King. How are you?
I'm doing outstanding. Thank you for having me, Brea.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Jen, for Real 100. She's the one who actually introduced you to our platform. So, Jen, I wanted to thank you as well for bringing Christopher King to the show.
Oh, you're so welcome. He is a man of many talents and very
Yeah.
well dressed.
Yes, very well dressed. Very well
I
dressed.
try to clean up a little bit. Thank you, Jim. Try to clean up a little bit.
You always looking sharp.
How long have you guys known each other for?
Oh God, Jen, that's on you.
Look, I don't know. It's been so many years. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we ain't gonna date ourselves, but we'll say we'll say 5+.
Okay, that's
We'll
good.
say 5+. And becoming from, we're both graduates of HBCU, Albany State University. So that what brought us together.
That's right.
No
So
ram head.
Yeah.
So Christopher is a graduate of, like Jen just said, an HBCU, Albany State University, with a bachelor's in computer information systems and a United States Marine Corps. Thank you again for your service to our country. Appreciate it, Christopher.
You're welcome. Thank you.
He has a life service and will continue to serve as long as God gives him the strength, he says. So I was really impressed with your bio, and thank you for sending that over. It really helps when I'm interviewing someone and they send over a bio. I want to kind of go right into the fact that you have this nonprofit and this organization that is geared towards human trafficking and bringing awareness. I really want to find out why human trafficking, because you don't hear about it a lot in mass media, and I'm so excited that you're doing it. And just recently, as you guys know, that there's been some movies out about it from some celebrities like that. So why human trafficking, Christopher? Why did that touch you to want to go ahead and be involved with that?
Human trafficking, it came about to me back when I think my grandfather was actually really still living. He was on his final days, in a sense, when I was introduced to it. And I was transitioning here in Florida from getting off of his tour bus to really expanding my fashion brand here in Tampa. And I was booked to host a fashion show by a local organization. And when I found out that the kids that were in the show were actually youth that had been victimized by human trafficking. And that was my first introduction. So as I learned more about what it was, that night, my manager kind of gave me a crash course and where Florida stood and et cetera. So I gave the actual money back to the charity, and I hosted and then did that event for free. But then in turn, I started volunteering for that organization as well, because it kind of touched my heart that humans would commit this atrocity to other humans. And then it goes back to, as we say now, 700 years ago, slavery never really died. It just metamorphed into something totally different. And now it affects everybody in a whole. So it really, Florida being ranked third, as I learned, behind California and Texas, we are in a problematic era where, how do we fix something that's so bad?
Right.
So I started to use my leverage and my platforms to educate on safety and prevention. And then being in the Marine Corps, you learn safety protocols of in different combat situations of how we can protect people. And so that's how I put everything together and came up with my charity, the Gentleman's Course, in teaching youth etiquette, human rights, and human trafficking prevention.
Very nice. Very nice. And when was it founded? What year, the Gentleman's Course?
2015. In 2015 is when I started this organization with a few board members and like-minded people at the time, and we've been thriving ever since. We're about to hit our 10-year next year, so I can't wait.
Nice. Congratulations. That's amazing. So
Thank you.
you have a annual red carpet event. Tell us a little bit about that and what the purpose is of having that. I really like it. I read a little bit about it and some of the celebrities that attend, but I'll let you kind of touch more on that.
Yeah. I mean, you must be ready to cut a rug because that's exactly
I
what
am.
everyone does. They ready to cut a rug. So our annual charity gala, and of course, being in the limelight, you get to attend a lot of different red carpet events across our glorious country. And I've had the privilege of being in a lot of different spaces. So when I went to organize and assemble this gala, I had a lot of good influence of different events and what I think should be in the space and shouldn't be in the space. So we do not overcrowd our galas with vendors. That's one thing you will not find at our gala is vendors. Unfortunately, we love entrepreneurship, but there's a time and a place. And this is about celebration and engagement and awareness. And that's what we focus on, the celebration and awareness piece. So we're not here to sell anybody anything extra other than the information that they need to get to protect themselves. So we start out with a nice complimentary valet parking with a champagne red carpet mixer, and we have a silent auction there as well with past hors d'oeuvres, and everything is included. So past heavy hors d'oeuvres. So no cheese and crackers. We actually have a little meat in it. People
Just a
love
little
good
meat.
food. Love meat in there, love good food. Then we go into a buffet equipped to serve 500. And we have 4 lines. We have a dessert bar with over 70 different desserts, ice sculptures. We also don't sell alcohol. The alcohol is complimentary. Like I said, it's an all-inclusive event. We have live entertainment, bands. We bring in an array of artists, some mainstream, some up-and-coming artists to perform and grace our stages because of our platform. It's such a diverse crowd. We allow people to be entertained by something they've never seen before. And one of our greatest performances, we brought I don't know if you've ever heard of a loop artist before, but his name is Eames. He's out of Michigan and he's a loop artist. And I found him performing for Hallmark's corporate event. So he created all the music on stage. And then he performed after he created the beat with a ukulele. So
Oh,
it was
wow.
crazy, how we able to come across great entertainment. But we've had celebrities from all walks of life, from actresses, entertainers, etc., attending our event. But then there's the youth component where we award and recognize youth at our event that go through our yearly mentorship program in the school systems here in Florida. So they're highlighted as well, and they're the main focus. There's a pinning ceremony during the dinner, and then there's community leaders that we highlight as well. So it's a lot that goes on at this event, recognizing people, youth, and the issue at hand.
Very nice. Very nice. I wanted to find out is that going to be the same date every year or is it at a different time every year? And and what is that date of that event?
So we try to keep the June event around my birthday weekend. Hoot hoot. So my birthday is June 9th. So whatever the weekend is closest to that. Because honestly, that's when we started the organization. It was around my birthday. So that's kind of like we would say a Founders Day celebration in a sense. But we do a second event in January, which is always around National Human Trafficking Awareness Day, which is January 11th. So unfortunately, we can't keep it on the same day, but it's always the Saturday closest to that day. So this year we're going to be celebrating on June 8th, 2024, this year in Clearwater, Florida.
Nice. Very nice.
Nice.
Yes. Jen, are you going to be at that event? Are you going to go?
Well, I plan to be there. I was gonna surprise Christopher, but now the cat's out the bag.
Don't know, can't nobody surprise me because see, security ain't gonna let surprises happen. That guest list got to get turned in and cleared because we have survivors of human trafficking at our
Mm.
event. So every
Oh,
name is checked on the
okay.
security list. It's cleared before entering property. So we can't. There are no door sales. There are no walk ups and
Okay.
attend. Everything is pre-purchased in advance for that main purpose, to make sure every name is cleared on the security protocols that they can't even enter the property, because we have had attempts in the past of potential traffickers or people that have been involved in trafficking cases actually try to attend our events, and we had to catch that in the beginning, because they
Oh,
try to
wow.
re-recruit people in public settings, and it's a very safe
Wow.
event outside of the state legislature and politicians that attend as well. We have to protect our guests at all costs.
Thank you for saying that. So yes, put Jennifer Gaines on the list, please.
Will
Yeah.
do, no problem. I got the whole crew. I got the whole. I got a table for the whole crew, so we all right.
Thank you. We appreciate that. This is so interesting because I'm thankful that you went into that the protocol of how you all do the background checks. So if anyone have not received their tickets, have not purchased their tickets right now, or just not hearing about the event and want to attend, is it too late for them to purchase tickets, put their name on a list, or how do they go
No,
about?
it's not. We shut down the list on June 1st, so about a week prior to the event. So we got about a week left. We shut down that list in advance ticket purchase sales on Eventbrite. All that shuts down on the 1st of June. Anything that goes after that, they have to call directly, so we can get the information and advise them if we can even get them cleared at that point. But then we go to door pricing. So once the January 1st sales close, we've had guests pay anywhere up to $1,000 just to get on the list and get in the day of or the week of, because they know the parameters. And background checks ain't free, they cost money. So we don't charge that to our guests. It's a surface level one that we check with all local PDs, Zephyr Hills Police Department, Pasco Sheriff's Office, Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. So all local PDs, we just do a surface level check to make sure they're not involved or engaged, and we move from there. We don't go into the depth. We don't pull social security numbers. No, we don't. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
That's amazing. I love it. And then so a couple questions. What is the attire for that event this year? And also, who are some of the celebrities that have supported this event throughout the years?
So our June event is always all white. We're added a twist this year where we're going to give our ladies a break from the heels, and actually we're doing a sneaker ball. The entertainment is always good, and our dance floor is always packed. So we want to make sure that they actually get a chance to enjoy themselves dancing and whatnot without having the pain of the ankles and heels being tormented the rest of the night. So,
Thank
put your
you.
gowns on with the tennis shoes is fine. And want people to relax. So all white is the natural color theme every June. And in January, we rotate that. We've done Great Gatsby. We've done a Masquerade Gala. So we rotate what the theme is in January. But June traditionally is always all white. And when you're talking about previous VIPs, oh my God, we've had a host of celebrities that have attended, from, oh my God, Dougie Fresh, John Travolta, his wife, rest in peace. But they've all graced our audience. Local celebs from the Tampa Bay area, NFL football players from the Bucks. We've had a lot of people. So forgive me if that list is just long, but we've had a lot of people that have graced our event. And of course, we don't promote or market the celebrity and the VIP guests because it's not a part of our marketing campaign. It's one of those things that if you're in the room and you see them in the room, then you're just in the room. And we respect our guests to handle themselves accordingly, no matter who is in our audience. We don't deal with the groupie mindset. If you see somebody, it's fine. They're just human beings. Greet them. You can speak. And if they want to take a picture, they will. But we don't market or promote the celebrities that attend for that simple purpose of their own privacy, to just want to attend the event without all the publicity.
I love it. I really
I
do love
like
it.
that. Yeah, I like that. That way they don't take because they don't want to, they're very considerate of the event, and they don't want to take the shine
Correct.
away from the purpose of the event and
Correct.
the limelight onto them. So I really do appreciate them for doing that. And I appreciate
Yeah.
you for, making sure that the focus stays on what the gala is about.
Correct. And we all, and there's a blanket understanding across the board. So as I talk, and we always talk with other celebs all the time, and we're talking about who's coming or who's going to pop in. I do know who's going to be popping in or showing face, in other words. And it's crazy sometimes. I've been and people ask me who's coming, who's coming, and I can't tell them because that's not in our marketing. But I just simply say, hey, if you're not there, it would be a miss if you're not there. So I recommend you just believe and have faith in the cause and just come out and enjoy yourself with us for an evening. And I guarantee you will enjoy the entire night, especially the food, because our menu is exquisite.
Nice, very nice. So, do you guys have a lot of press for these yearly events, these annual events, as far as TV and?
Believe it or not, no. We do some after press, but we don't do a lot of marketing or advertising or open media. We don't. When I first started this event, it spread literally by word of mouth, and that's how we've been sustaining. Honestly, I've never paid for any advertising for it whatsoever. You won't see billboards. So if you support the charity, it's authentic. Our supporters truly support the charity, and that's who gets the tickets, and they buy them unequivocally because it's not something that's a free for all. We do sell out. We only have 460 seats maximum, so that's all we can hold. And once we submit it out to the general public, for example, people know traditionally on June 8th that night, our January 11th, 2025 tickets will go on sale. They know it. So 6 months out, we already know the date, the venue's already been selected. We know what we're doing. So by the time that night is over, we've already probably filled half of the event for January next year already. So we don't have to market because people who are at the event want to come back. They pre-plan, they commit for it. So God has been blessing us to not have to market or promote in that perspective, but we do some press releases after the event. Yes, that's about it.
Okay, nice, very nice. Jen, I know we're going to take a break here in about less than 2 minutes, but do you have any other questions on the event before we kind of move on to some other things?
Now, I just want to applaud you because that means your name and your company, your organization name speaks volumes, that you don't have to advertise, that it's word of mouth, that because you are so passionate about what you do, that your name and your organization name speaks for itself. So that's something very to be commendable for. And I applaud you on that. And lets you know, I guess it makes you feel good that you know that you're in the right direction and that you're doing your purpose and what God has called you to do. Because when you don't have to advertise something, it always stays, in the forward of someone's mind that, hey, this is such a good event and I don't want to miss out on the next one.
Right. We're intentional about our efforts and our commitment to kids, as well as we service adults too. But that's on the group home side. So thank you, Jen. I appreciate that. I received that, and I thank God for His blessings, past, current, and future.
Amen.
All right.
Won't He do it?
This is coming from two HBCU Albany State University alumni, you guys.
Go Rams.
Go Rams.
All right, well, we do have to take a quick break. If you're just joining us, you guys grab your popcorn and something to drink because we're sitting down with Christopher King, and this is a great discussion. I don't know if you guys have heard about him, but if you've heard of B.B. King, Christopher King, again, is the grandson, and he's got a lot of great things happening, so you don't want to miss it. So hang tight. We got to take a quick break, and we will be right back. All right, you guys, we are back from break and we are talking to Christopher King. Christopher King, you having a good time so far?
Man, I'm having a good time. Y'all a trip. If y'all only heard the off-air commentary, y'all would this would probably be a very crazy interview right now. But we here right now. We here for all the smoke. Let go.
So we always say that because my brother Colin, he edits a lot of the shows, and he's always saying you guys got to leave some of that off the air stuff in because it is crazy. We really get into it. So at an early age, you were exposed to life in the fast lane, of course, being on being on board of national tours with your grandfather, traveling internationally with different artists and things of that nature. Just curious on, I don't, you don't have to mention any names, but anyway, how did that shape you today as an individual and being a businessman and just making your connections with celebrities? How, and because obviously, with you doing the, some of the styling some celebrities and things of that nature, how did that shape you today with that experience with BB King?
Truly, it was eye opening because I'll start with saying that I was not raised in a silver spoon situation. So um, my grandfather afforded me an opportunity that I could not pass up, but it was on the backside of some bad, very, very bad choices that I had made in life. So he was trying to basically save his grandson, and gave me an opportunity, and I took it. So coming from the hard streets of drug dealing and all kind of foolishness, just being a bad kid, and it forced me, and that's what put me in the military. So I didn't go by choice. I went because a judge ordered me to go to the military, and that was my sentence. I was arrested with 16 kilos of cocaine in Savannah, Georgia. So, talking about a turning point in a person's life, and learning and teaching me something better. And trust me, them long nights on that bus was not easy. Those were some rigorous speeches at 4 o'clock in the morning, driving down I-20 or 75, coming across these country roads. Well, son, I got to talk to you now. And here come the speech. So ain't no going to sleep. No, 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 no. There was some rough speeches, some hard lessons. But as I grew and I found who I was with him, sometimes in order to find out who we are, it takes some help from other people. And we have to be open to receive that help in those hard lessons, that hard love and those hard conversations. And I view him even to this day as still mentoring me, because I think about those conversations that we had when I asked him some of those hard questions. And he said, son, if you're going to be in business to be a business. So I never understood what he meant by being a business to be in business. But then, I thought about some of my favorite hip hop artists, and Jay-Z said, I'm a business man. And that's two parts. So not just being in the business, but making what he did a business. So I didn't just work for him. I started my own management firm, La Rock Management Group at the time, and I started taking on other clients. So yeah, I was on the bus with him, but I expanded my horizons as I was meeting and networking with people to leverage and monetize the position that I had to actually grow something, because I knew his bus was not going to roll forever. He was already old. So what am I
Right.
going to do after the fact? When I got on the bus, he was like 80. So, what this ain't, I wasn't around when he was in his 40s. So, meeting and establishing partnerships with other management firms like Burke Management, Vansel Burke. Shout out to Vansel Burke out in LA. He blessed me with access to his client roster, like Michael Collier, and that's how we got access to Jackie Christie, and so on and so forth. So partnerships and collaborations help mold. Grandfather taught me some hard hit lessons, but I actually had to make a choice. Did I want to be in this space? Did I want to be a better person? Did I want to grow? That's an individual choice. No matter how much influence, I had to make some hard choices to be a better person and to be a better businessman. And then that helped really form my focus and intention about the things that I do today. And people will tell me, you a Gemini, so you hard. I say, yeah, I'm real cutthroat because I don't fool with people. And when I make a decision, this is my decision. I'm moving forward with it, headstrong, head first. But I'm vetted in my knowledge, and I trust the process, and everything has a process. So truly, being on that bus was rough, but joyful at the same time, because he was still Papa. So we
Right.
had our great memories, our great conversations of just the family and enjoying the moment. So I do miss the old man. And I have a lot of pictures of him I have a wall of like memorabilia, and I got a Lucille here at the house, and I got a framed jacket from his catalog. So I got some stuff here that I framed, that are keepsakes that I won't let the time and weather destroy. I miss the old man. Y'all gonna make me cry on the show, but I
Oh,
miss the old man. He was here.
yeah. Yeah. What year did he pass?
2015.
Gotcha.
2015, and that's when I started my charity, because that was that transitional period. You know, when he got ill, he fell in Chicago. And my transition to Florida was 2013, 2014 when I transitioned to Florida. He did his last show in Florida at Ruth Eckerd Hall, and I was actually offered a job at Ruth Eckerd Hall at the time. And I moved to Florida pursuing that, but I never took it. And I kind of just stayed here in Florida and built out, but then his health dwindled. And he fell down in Chicago. They took him home from there and basically canceled the rest of the tour. He never got back on the road, and he slowly transitioned to passing in 2015. I want to say in March. And that was a rough episode, because I was on the way to visit him while he was still in hospice care, because we had some matters that we were discussing, and we were going to do as the King legacy as it stood, because he knew things that I wanted, that he was going to give me. But I was in Dallas, stuck on a 9-hour layover, already on my way to Vegas. And that's when my Facebook literally just blew up. Sorry for your loss. Sorry for your loss. I didn't know what was going on. And I went to CNN News, and sure enough, they had it plastered right there. We've just been announced that B.B. King has passed tonight. And it went, it was, I threw my phone. My business partner was with me. We was in the van on the way back to the hotel. And I just threw my phone. He was like, "What in the world is going on?" And I was just in tears. And people in the van, they were getting scared because they thought I had an episode of craziness. Like, he just go from laughing to crying instantaneously. He throwing a phone, and he looked at my phone. He was like, "Oh my God." So he kind of blessed everybody in the van with the news and said, "Hey, he's okay. It's just he's the grandson of B.B. King, and his grandfather was just announced dead, and this is hard for him to take." So of course, it was a rough night. We went ahead and finished the trip. We made it to Vegas the next day, and I met with his business manager at the time. Went to the office and kind of did our things that we needed to do while we were there, but we couldn't do the business we were intended to do there. And I let it all go. And one thing that I did was build out my business before, because it wasn't only dependent on what my grandfather would leave me, because I knew what his intentions was for an estate to fulfill educational rights for his great grandchildren. There was never any money for kids or grandkids. That was never his intent. He supported education, and that's what he did.
Okay. And it sounds like he left you a lot of nuggets of information that you were able to kind of take on, and he passed the torch a little bit to you. That's kind of how I feel with this story of what you're
Yeah,
telling me.
and when I look at my family as a whole, there are other members in my family that are great artists as well. Barbara King, she sings the blues as well. I have my aunt Paulette, and she's in Atlanta. She's also there, and she sings as well. So, they're doing their thing. But when it comes to global notoriety I guess you could say, on a consistent scale, I ain't gonna toot my own horn, but they can't touch the kid. You know what I mean?
But toot toot, toot toot.
They can't touch the kid. I've been to the White House, blessing 4 times, and my last trip was with President Biden, currently in office, and he blessed me with my Lifetime Achievement Award. So it was something that it touched me, because my grandfather performed there. For me to go back and receive an award in the same house he performed, I got to do a speaking engagement with Junior from the Steve Harvey Morning Show and Chrisette Michelle about 2 years ago at Ruth Eckerd Hall. No, not Ruth Eckerd Hall, excuse me, at the Mahaffey Theater in St. Pete. And the promoter was like, "I want to give you a present." And I said, "What you mean?" He said, "This was your grandfather's dressing room when he performed here, and the house, they had a picture of him on the wall." And it was heartwarming for me to be on a stage that he performed on, speaking, and being able to be in the same dressing room. And I had my daughter with me, and it was just, so to be in this space and thriving and growing is huge. But I'm humble in my space and spirit, and I thank God for all my blessings and opportunities, because, Jen, thank you for even bringing this opportunity for me to be on this show with you guys. It's a privilege and an honor.
Oh, you are so welcome.
Yes, thank you, Jen. Because, to be honest with you, I hadn't heard too much about you. And when she told me about you, I was like, I was kind of not mad, but a little disappointed that I didn't know that much about you, because you've done so well and have done so many great things and things that I'm passionate about, like the human trafficking And then the awards that you mentioned, I want to get into that in a minute because I noticed you are wearing an award on your neck. So we got to touch on that a little bit more. But I wanted to kind of go back a little bit to now you had been sentenced, you said, to go serving in the military, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did that feel like a prison sentence to you at the time? And then what did you get out? And then what did you get out of it? And did you feel like
Man, I don't think first off, only a few people are going to understand what I'm going to tell them. Being a private in the United States Marine Corps is a prison sentence.
I
In
think
its
all
own.
prisoners need to go to the
You
military.
are at the bottom of the barrel. You have no authority whatsoever. You're owned by the government. You have no leadership responsibilities. You are the footstool for even the next rank up for a PFC is over you. And then the worst case scenario, he could be younger than you. And there's nothing you can do about it because of the rank. And so being a private for 4 years, that was a problem for me. And it was hard to come from the streets and be responsible for everything that I had. And it was rough. So no. It taught me some real lessons of the pecking order and hierarchy and how to be humble in a space where you know you are bigger and better than what you were or are in. So yeah, I learned some hard lessons, and I did reenlist. And I got promoted, and I ended up exiting the military as a sergeant. So I was great. You know, it was a good space to be in.
very nice. That is interesting. I'm glad you mentioned that because I do know a lot of people who, even when they have been wrongly accused and went to prison or something like that, they say that they got something out of it either way. And so
Yeah.
I would say it either makes you or breaks you in your spirit.
Well, I can tell you this: I wasn't wrongfully accused. That was definitely my dope. That was my house. I owned it, and the judge said, "Young man, I'm gonna give you a second chance here." And I
Wow.
said, "Wait, what?" He said, "Yeah, I'm gonna give you a second chance. Option B, I can give you 60 to life, or option A." And option A, my lawyer had to inform me because he gave me a contract. He didn't even say, "Hello, my name is," no, he sign here. And that was kind of the end of it. And then 30 days later, I was on Paris Island on some yellow footprints.
Wow. I mean, it's kind of like you're going from one dynamic to another. So you had kind of, maybe you didn't, but it kind of seems to me like you had a little bit more freedom, obviously, before, because you're doing your thing, and now you're kind of on lockdown,
Yeah,
and you very got to move into these
locked
cities.
down. And trust me, they knew who my grandfather was then too. So boot camp wasn't an easy transition because they said, "Oh, King, oh, you
Wow.
think you famous? Oh, you think you hard?
Yeah.
Oh, bet we finna get you. Matter of fact, you want to swim home? Because you right from Savannah. You want to swim home? You can swim home, King.
Not
Go
swim
ahead. We
home.
ain't gonna bother you. The Gators gonna get you, but your grandfather can't save you here." So, it was boot camp was a rough transition. But I graduated in my 3 months. I did it, served, and went on to combat training up in North Carolina, and then my MOS training, which is human intelligence, and then so on and so forth. My first duty station, they shipped me off to Japan, and that's where I did all my deployments from, attached to the 3rd Marine Expeditionary Force in Japan. So I thank God once again for all my blessings. People gonna hear me say that a lot. I thank God for all my blessings, past, current, and future.
You
It's
have
kind
to.
of like an ego killer, killing your ego and building you back up. And then now got to get in touch with God a little bit more and have some come into whatever moments and
I'm coming to
whatever.
Jesus moment.
Right, coming to Jesus moments.
Look, I done
All
had a
need.
lot of them, and when you're in space where you hear pew 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 pew, it changes you in its entirety of who you are. And then, but when you're on the end where you're pew 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 pew,
Yeah.
and you see it hit flesh on the other end, you see people falling, or you in hand-to-hand combat, an altercation when you're fighting and you're doing, it's different. People can talk about combat, but they can't understand the magnitude of what it is. And they say, "Well, you've killed people." Well, I was in this position where I didn't have no choice.
Exactly.
It was either them or me because they were gonna, it's just different. And it's hard to even discuss the parameters of what combat is in its entirety. But
Right.
I got out because I didn't want to go back.
Yeah.
And with no guarantee I was gonna come home. So
Right.
I did my tours and I did my penance. I served and I served again. So I don't owe nobody nothing.
Yeah. And
And
probably a
he
very
loved it.
humbling experience. So
Yeah, he loved it because when I got to Albany, Albany,
You have to say it
It was
right.
it was in 2005 when I got to Albany. And my grandfather was touring then. So I would go, and that was my last duty station at the Marine Logistics Base there. And I would go and see him on tour in my dress blues. So I was his Marine guard as he performed. And that was my transition once I got out of the military. That's when I went to work for him as an adult.
Okay. Well, we got to take a quick break. We do want to hear a little bit more. And then I know Jen is going to kind of segue into some of your recent awards that you were just given. So you guys, again, if you're just now tuning in, we're talking to Christopher King, B.B. King's grandson, and his amazing life and all the things he had to endure to get him to where he is now. So don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
All right, we are back talking to this impressionable young man, Mr. Christopher King. And I am reading on your bio that you have received not one, not two, not three, but 4 gold presidential medals, a congressional letter, and a humanitarian leader of the year award, a global philanthropy award, man, local, and state proclamations, and recently received the Presidential Volunteer Service Lifetime Achievement Award from the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden, for his towering efforts in uplifting and building high-functioning community initiatives. So I see that little bling around your neck. So what tell us a little bit about what it is to receive those prestigious honors, what it felt like for you, what does it mean for you, and what can you do with that to help your community?
Well, honestly, I'm gonna be straight blunt. People might not like it, but medals don't do nothing for the people. They don't do, they shiny and they look good, and I love receiving awards and recognition. But we all know the work is what benefits the community and being intentional about the work. So the first award I received was from the Honorable President Obama. When he was in office, I got my first one, and that was actually in DC. So I was very humbled at the time to be in that space and to meet a man of his lineage and his legacy. And just respect across the board for, black man to black man. And we're recognizing the effort. So what it takes to get this award, honestly, I didn't learn that until later, but it's a magnitude of the level of community impact. When you're talking at minimum, 4,000 hours have to be committed in service. And there's a system that they document where nominating organizations can submit you. So I forget the organization. No, I didn't. It was Youth for Human Rights International. They were the organization that nominated me for the award back then. And like I said, we had to go to DC to receive it, and I received it at the United Nations. That's where they did the ceremony inside the UN in New York. So it was like I said, it was a beautiful thing, beautiful moment. And since then, I've gotten more. Got one from Donald Trump, got one from Biden as well, and then the Lifetime Achievement Award. So it's every year, different organizations highlight and recognize people. So nominating organizations across the country can nominate people for these awards. And it's the second most prestigious. And I say second because you have the Presidential Freedom Medal, which is what my grandfather received. And that's normally given to someone who's done a lifetime or legacy worth of work. And I haven't gotten there yet. I don't do this for awards, but I thank him for his efforts.
You're on the way.
This is, You're
on the way. You're on the right track.
Yeah. We keep doing the work. That's the focus. We keep doing the work, and the more kids' lives we touch, teach one, reach one. So reach one, teach one.
I appreciate that. And how are you touching the lives of the youth? I want to start with your GENT course. So tell us a little bit about how you're touching the lives of young men.
So our program is co-ed. We work with young ladies and young men. We have female coaches and male coaches, and we teach them mainly 3 pillars: etiquette, human rights, and human trafficking prevention. And how I foresaw this was that if I can teach people or youth to respect themselves, and in turn use the human rights platform, they can learn how to protect other people. and know what those guidances are. And there's a lot of segues in there because if you get into the civil rights movement, civil rights is a portion of what human rights are in its entirety. So we all have 30 human rights, and we use that as a platform to educate. And I call them my 30-30 because I have 30 rules of being a gentleman, and then you have 30 human rights. So I package all that together with helping them. And then we go into table manners, how to tie ties, general posture, how to walk, tones, how to speak to people, and how knowledge of important it is of how you deliver your message. And it levies on how it's received. So it's a full lecture method, some that's role playing, and we get into different scenarios with the kids, but it's a direct involvement with them. And I train my coaches, so they always deal with a person, not with a booklet.
Nice. Makes a lot of sense. Can you tell us too, that great question, Jen, on that, and I kind of wanted to piggyback off that a little bit. I want to get you on another show. I know that you have a very busy schedule, but I would like to have a full show based on human trafficking
Yeah.
tips, things like that for parents and children, because like I said, people are not talking about it enough. There
Right.
are a few, but it's just not enough. And I don't really know why that is, but we can dive into that too. But I would like to have you come down to Atlanta if you can, and then we can all, especially when Lovey D, our other host, will be here, so we can all sit down and talk about it.
Road trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, much needed road trip, especially where I read that Atlanta,
Road
Georgia is
trip.
that in 2023, Atlanta, Georgia was number 2 in the world for human trafficking. That just really
Mhm.
blew my mind away. And I know that Florida is also a hot spot.
Mhm.
Yes.
Where there's
Yes.
close to water.
Who's
Because
number
they
one,
got
by the way?
Cali.
Cali, yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
think about it. Looking from this perspective, most states that are ports, most states that are ports are going to be your high marking states of trafficking because of their access points. In Florida, in Cali, New York, Texas are all port states, which means, and I gave somebody this example of how the system is flawed, and we'll move on. But if a child is reported missing, local law enforcement have to wait at least how long before they can actually act on it? 72 hours.
Mhm.
So in 72 hours, they're starting at the last place a child was seen. They're just going to start investigating in those steps. But if a child is taken in Tampa, in 5 hours, where can they be? Atlanta,
Mhm. Yeah.
Montgomery, Alabama,
Yep.
Miami on a boat heading to Cuba.
Yep. Yep.
In 3 days, imagine how far a child can be taken in 3 days, and you're just starting. So, yes, the system is flawed. We're behind the mark, but we deal with how do you fix it? You can't, because we deal with runaways and bad kids who just don't want to abide by the rules. And they be at their friend's house and their cousin's house just trying to lay low because they don't want their mama to find them. So when we deal with bad parenting, and I ain't gonna get into that because that's soapbox topic, but the lack of parental guidance and free choice of kids. See, my kids have a fear factor. They fear me, not because I beat them, because I don't, but there's a level of responsibility when it comes to rearing a kid, that they understand the pecking order and respect for adults and rules and regulations. They were taught that, and I instill that into them. So do I fear that they can become victimized? Of course, because they don't control what comes to them. They don't control the minds of another person driving down the street. They might see them walking to the bus stop and just snatch them. All those teachings I can do at home won't stop that, because that's another person's choice.
Yep.
So long as we make them aware and we try our best to keep a safe community, teach them to not walk the same route, walk in a group, don't be a loner. There's so many things we can teach our kids to be safe, but it always starts at home.
Absolutely. And that's important to know. I know I of course have daughters and live in Georgia. So it's scary for parents, especially when you see that, like I always like to say, mainstream media doesn't do to me, and that's just my personal opinion.
They
Somebody
don't
else
do
may think
enough.
differently. Somebody else may think differently, but I personally feel they're not putting that information out like they should be.
No.
And it's no secret that some law enforcement and some governmental agencies, you question why that is, but that's another show. We'll wait for you to come down here. We'll all get in the studio together and
Oh yeah,
chop.
we gonna have some fun about that. We going in because look, when I get on that soapbox, people like, oh my God, like that's really, is that sensitive? Oh yeah, it hits home for me because I'm a parent. I have
Exactly.
2 children, a son and a daughter. So when it comes to kids being violated, oh yeah, that's a soft spot for me. And
Yeah.
look, you don't want to bring the Marine Corps out of me. We're gonna be nice.
A lot of parents, it's one of the most vulnerable things as a parent that you can experience is the safety and well-being of your child.
Yep,
And so again, I just commend you for your work and Jen for 100 for bringing you to the platform so we can talk about it because I'm very extremely passionate about it. Love kids. Kids are a gift to the world and it's not talked about enough and they're not protected
yeah,
in my personal opinion. So in my platform, I'm going to be talking about it. So if you got, hopefully, there's support out there and because I know there's a lot of parents out there that feel the same way.
definitely. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
So again, we're kind of coming to the end a little bit and we went a little bit over our time already, but we got to have you back, right, Jen?
Yes, we do. Most definitely. We have not even scratched the surface of who
Oh no, we're
Christopher
gonna we're
King
gonna turn
is.
Atlanta up. We're gonna turn that. We're gonna do a nice symposium. We're gonna make the trip
Yes.
intentional. We're gonna make some community engagement, do some awareness, do the
Yes.
interview, but we're gonna
Yes.
make sure Atlanta feels the vibe.
Absolutely. Can you go up before we end the show? Can you go ahead and tell us tell the listeners where they can find you, where they can find your events, and any other places online that they can reach out to you and connect with you?
Definitely, definitely. So I'm easy to find. The real Christopher King. You can just put the real Christopher King in Google, and it'll bring up all of our platforms. The website is www.thegentcourse.com. Christopher King, B.B. King, Christopher King, the Gentleman's Course, and trust me, you'll find pages and pages and pages of resources. Branding makes sense, so it's one name, the real Christopher King, and you'll find me, or the Gentleman's Course. And you can find us on all social media platforms, YouTube, etc.
Nice. Jen, real quick before we head out, any last words from you?
If anyone want to go to your event, tell them how they can buy tickets to the event.
Eventbrite. Log onto Eventbrite and just look for the Sneaker Ball, all white Sneaker Ball, Clearwater, Florida, June 8th. Red carpets at 5:30. And I look forward to seeing everyone there. You can go to our website, thegentcourse.com. It's a link there that'll direct you straight to Eventbrite as well. Or on my Instagram in my bio, there's the link to take you to Eventbrite as well, the real Christopher King. So there's always one way, more than one way to skin a cat. So you can't say you didn't know.
Right.
I
And
hope to
what was
see
that
you
date
all there.
again? What was that date again on that for the
June 8th.
listener? Okay.
June 8th, June 8th,
In
June 8th.
Clearwater, Florida.
All right, you guys.
Clearwater, Florida.
Well, you heard it straight from the horse's mouth, or Christopher King's mouth, as I should say. Thanks again for sharing your story with our platform. We really appreciate you. And if anyone is interested in connecting with you, again, he just gave you out all of his socials and the websites and the tickets you can find at Eventbrite. Thanks for, so we really appreciate you. All right, you guys, we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back. All right, you guys, we are back. Again, thank you so much, Christopher King, for coming on the show. You are doing amazing work out there, and I hope that everybody has gained something from listening to your works and very important works that you are doing in the community. So again, we just want to, thank you so much, and we'll have you again on the show. Thank you guys for tuning into the show. Hope you all enjoyed it, as I most certainly did. Be sure to tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Heat 97.3 FM. So that's on www.theheat973.com. And also now on our podcast on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Spotify. And that's Bizzy Bree's Hot Topics. A lot of our shows on the radio are also replayed on the podcast weekly. So you do not want to miss it. Go ahead and subscribe, you guys, so you can get those alerts. As always, be good, be great, and never stop being the best you that you were designed to be. This is your girl, Bizzy Brea and Jennifer 100, and we will see you next time. Stay blessed.